Hey everyone, and welcome back to FAMcast. This is episode 62, and we are continuing our summer of streamers. We have Birb, the smallest birb, with us today. Luckily, she was able to jump on after work. She's West Coast, we're East Coast. So we're lucky that we were able to make the times work. How's everyone doing tonight?
Doing good.
I'm doing good.
Doing real good.
Awesome. And Tim's not with us tonight. He had some other things going on, but we do have Trey with us as well.
Yay!
So as always with our summer of streamers, we always like to highlight different people that we've kind of met throughout our could be our Twitch career, just going to different gaming events. So I feel like I've seen you kind of around a few different places now, because I've seen you at PAX East at one point.
Yes.
So you've been pretty busy between. I know when we met you, you were working on Mage Quit, and now you're at a completely different company, right?
Yes. So I'm currently a community manager at Gung Ho Online Entertainment.
Okay.
So we're in California. We're a Japanese company that has a few titles under our belt. We have Puzzle and Dragons, which is a mobile gacha game. We've got Let It Die, which is I guess you call it like a hack and slash. Yeah, you like Let It Die? Nice.
It's a good game.
Senpai.
I love it.
And more recently we actually just launched a game back to back. We had Teppen, which is our collaboration with Capcom, and we had the Grandia HD collection, which just came out on Switch on Friday, so I'm still kind of catching up on my sleep from that.
Oh yeah, you're partly swamped then.
Yeah, but it's not too bad. We have a good team.
Oh man, I didn't know it came out on Friday. I got to go pick that up.
Yeah,
download that.
It's really good. I'm really happy with how it came out.
I've been seeing lots about it on Twitter. Lots of excitement around it. It seems.
Yeah, it's been a long time since Billy Grandia game, but they're some fantastic games. And
22 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Around that. Yeah.
Yeah, now it's on the Switch. It's like a must pick up. Like anything that comes to the Switch, I'm like, give me it. Done. Sold.
It's such a great console for something like that, you know? Any of those like collections of something
like classic games.
Yeah, like classic games.
Since we're not getting the virtual console, Nintendo.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
I had a lot of consoles.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know we talk about it all the time. It'd be nice to see more classic games on the Switch, but it's nice that, you know, companies are, instead of having a virtual console on the Switch, these companies are putting out these collections on their own, which helps out a little bit.
Yeah.
So to give everyone that might not know you, that's listening, maybe a better idea, kind of where you came from, how you got into the industry. We kind of want to start kind of before you even got into the industry as a whole. Maybe just when you got into gaming. Is that something that you grew up with? Is it something that you knew you wanted to do for a job? How did this all begin?
So I've been playing video games since I was like 5 or 6 years old. So I'm 25, so that's, you know, over a decade of gaming right there.
Right.
But I started with the original Nintendo. I was a huge fan of the Jekyll and Hyde game, which, if you guys ever have heard of or have experienced that game, it's almost impossible to beat. It's among some of the most difficult gameplay in gaming history. But that's where I kind of started, and then grew up with games. Was the president and vice president of gaming groups both in my high school, which was really interesting because I went to an all-girls high school.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And then in my college, I was the gaming president. We had the Drew Organization of Gaming, which was DOG, which I always
Nice.
That's awesome.
I did that, and then I had in college I had actually a radio show for gaming where we would talk about gaming. And then from there, I started actually writing for a gaming website called Gaming Access Weekly. And kind of just everything from there up until that point, I had been so insanely involved with everything gaming, from doing local game tournaments, working with gaming cosplayers for a local organization called the Senpai Project. And I was writing for 3 years for them, and I recently just transferred over. So my degree has nothing to do with gaming. I was an environmental science major.
Oh wow!
In college. And I was going to be a scientist, and then I got heavily back into gaming, and it all died from there.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So basically how I got kind of back into it was doing conventions with the gaming website. I went to RTX and PAX East and PAX South and PAX West.
Yeah.
All the PAXs.
Always.
New York Comic Con, things like that. And that's how I ended up meeting Brett and Chad from Bullcut Studios. And getting involved with them. I was the community manager for almost a year because they didn't really have, at the point where I joined back with them, there was no online multiplayer yet. It was still local multiplayer only. So they had to figure out a way to get, an audience from that. And that's kind of where I started with them, working with them at conventions, and then working with them on their PR stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much been my gaming experience up until this point, working with Gung Ho.
Wow, that's that's a pretty extensive portfolio that you have already for. I mean, you're 25 and you've been doing. You've been involved with games outside of just casually since high school. So that's extremely impressive.
Thank you.
So, with the community, because I know you're community manager now for Gung Ho, and that's what you were doing with Mage Quit before. Mm-hmm. Would you say that that's kind of your, with all the things you've done in the gaming industry, would you say that that's kind of your passion now? Is that kind of where you feel like you fit into the gaming industry?
Yeah. With community management, it's one of it's really different from all the other positions in the gaming industry, in my opinion, because it's really about the community you deal with. Because with something like, I don't know, with programming, there's a set of rules. You can, always go outside those set of rules. But with community management, it feels like it's a completely different book every time. Like you're learning new rules from each of your communities. Like when you're working with a mobile game, that's completely different from working on on an online multiplayer or something like that.
Okay, I never really thought about it like that too. That's a good point.
Yeah. So when you go, let's say I worked on Mage Quit, which is an online multiplayer for PC. Mm-hmm. That's completely different community from the Grandia community that I was working with. Where it's, hardcore RPG fans. So you completely have to change your mindset and the content you create from one game to another. And it's, it definitely is a lot of planning involved.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. I mean, from what we do on our end, it makes it look so small scale. Like we're scheduling out tweets and you're dealing with thousands of people that are wanting to, play this game. That's a big responsibility.
Yeah, you definitely have to be a good listener and you have to constantly be involved.
Sure, true.
It's definitely not, I do have my set hours of, when I go into work and when I leave work, but I feel like I'm constantly like on, being involved with the community. I constantly look at my phone to see what the latest comments are and things like that.
Oh yeah.
You never really go to sleep.
And with something like the gaming industry, where something can get announced, really at any time, you have to stay on top of it, I'm sure. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're pretty much always on the clock, even though you aren't officially. I can understand that.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys get that too with like content creators and constantly having to be aware of what's going on in your own content circles.
Yeah.
Yes, I was just gonna ask, like, what's that like that balance between being the community manager and then like managing your own stuff? Because I know you're also a streamer as well, right? Mm-hmm. So like, what's that balance like between like the gaming industry and then your content?
Yeah, so it's more about the stance you take with when you're dealing with content for a company versus your own content. There's definitely a lot more freedom with my own content because there are rules for when you're working with a company and the things they want you to create versus what you want to create and the kind of stuff you like to create. Like, for example, my content, streaming wise, is based around horror and indie games. But when I'm working with Gung Ho, that's I'm working on like a sci-fi or fantasy title. Sure. So there's definitely a different, and then just the way you interact with people, from a company standpoint versus how you interact with your own community. There's definitely a lot of overlap, but there's definitely more of a disconnect when you're working with the company versus when you're working with your own content, I think.
Okay. Let me write down these notes real quick.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I like the challenges of both. I think they're both really interesting, but I kind of like the ability to every day is something different with working with a company. Like, you're never working on one thing at any time. So that's always really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with like the huge like growing market between like Teppen, and then I'm sure there's like the huge market of people like, oh my god, Grandia's coming back out, like me. Like, I was super excited to hear about that, and it came out Friday. I had no idea about that, but I guess like just trying to balance the two would be so tough. But I mean, hey, you're doing a good job for it. So
yeah, I think so. When I was working on Mage Quit, I was actually in graduate school.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Which is something that a lot of people don't know. Yeah, I was working on my master's in writing while I was working for Mage Quit. And balancing, and I was also working a third job, which had nothing to do with anything. It was more of just financial help. But
right. I know that's true.
I worked for my college in the financial aid program.
Okay.
Financial aid department. So I was doing 3 things at once, and that forced me to kind of have to schedule everything very specifically. So I knew from, like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. that was work, and then what days were classes, and what day was I going to do stuff for Mage Quit, and what day was I going to do stuff for my own streaming content. And it's definitely difficult to balance of work life to stream life, but it's a hustle. We all experience it.
Yeah, it's that grind for sure.
Yeah,
it really is.
But I'm really lucky that I got to finish my master's, because now part of what I get to do with community management is that I'm writing DLC for one of our games, Galaxy.
Oh wow!
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so we have events that come out we actually have 2 events that come out every month, and I get to write the kind of the story behind what that event's going to be.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So we just did an Area 51 parody one recently. That was
nice.
Super cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my job for that day was researching Area 51 memes, which was
That's a good day of work right there.
Right.
If my job contained searching for memes, as part of a game.
Right.
Done. This is the industry for me, for sure.
It's in like the job prereqs. Like you have to be on top of your memes.
Oh yeah, when you'd be surprised how many social media and community management positions on gaming websites where it's just like, know your memes. Okay.
That's awesome.
That's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that that's kind of been embraced.
Yeah. More definitely more companies are kind of required to understand meme culture more.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I love it.
Wendy's has kind of like set that golden standard. Like
Wendy's
they're
is
always
like
on top of it.
Top of the
Wendy's
food chain,
and Arby's and
Oh yeah.
Arby's has been killing it.
It's funny because Arby's actually hires a third-party artist to do all their content creation. So when you see like the fry boxes or the sandwich boxes that are made into like video game characters and things like that, that's actually an independent artist who makes all that for them, and
Interesting.
Then they post it out. Yeah.
Because I know, I think there was like a cosplay person that did the big like nightmare.
Yeah.
That's right. I forget the name of them, but yeah, I saw that in person. I was like, wow, this had to take a lot of time and a lot of fries.
Yeah. And a lot of sandwich boxes.
A lot of sandwiches.
Right.
A lot of sandwiches, a lot of fries. Got to get the grease just right.
Yeah, I've seen them at a few conventions and everything, to where they'll hide their like the creations around the convention hall, and they'll like tweet it out, and you have to go find it or whatever.
Oh, that's super cool. I've never seen that.
It'd be cool to have one of those creations to own.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Give me the nightmare any day. I'll take it.
Yeah. So with social media being such a big part of your role, how, as far as like your like a day-to-day, would you say social media kind of takes up the majority of your time during your workday, or is research maybe a good chunk of that as well?
Yeah, I would actually. So it's surprising because there are times where I have to be on social media and be constantly aware of what's happening on social media, but a lot of the time the research is spent on content creation type things. So like learning how to make specific types of content, or learning how to make new types of content. So I've been learning a lot with Premiere Pro. I already had a lot of experience with it, but having to do this job, I've had to learn twice as much as I already knew. So it's a lot of research on new types of content creation, and you always have to be on top of the newest type of software and who's using what, and new tricks how to make your content more efficient and reach more people. So it's a lot of that kind of research.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just now getting into learning all that stuff. It's insane. I don't know how Trevor does it, but I want to get to that level. It is insane.
Yeah, it's I feel like any of the Adobe programs are so overwhelming, especially at first, that like anymore the best way is just to be self-taught and finding those tutorials out there and kind of just teaching yourself these like the latest trends, kind of like what you're saying. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. So are you actually creating the content as well?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, we definitely have an amazing graphic designer. She's fantastic. But there are times where I have to make content, or where I want to create new types of content. So we'll kind of split up the work, where somebody will create, some of the assets for me, but I'll go in and maybe I'll create the video content behind it. So it's definitely a team effort there. But I've definitely been learning a lot more about how Photoshop works and how Premiere Pro works and all that, doing this job.
That's awesome. That sounds right up my alley.
Oh yeah. Well, you guys do awesome when you do the D&D.
Streams,
how you have the cameras and everything set up. I've definitely been keeping track of that.
Thank you. Yeah,
Very,
that one was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The Resident Evil D&D that we did.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
I wasn't part of it. I was a guy behind the scenes, like doing the camera and the music and all that stuff. Oh, that was so fun. I love doing like production side of things. It's like my favorite. Like I could set up people's streams all day. If that was like a job title, like stream setter upper, I would be that guy.
That's actually that was one of my jobs in college and undergrad. I worked for the Media Resource Center, and I would just have to set up cameras and speakers and streams and stuff like that. I got to drive the golf cart, which was really nice.
Even better.
Yeah. One of my friends ended up crashing it through the window of the library, but he somehow kept his job.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's impressive in itself.
Always wear your seatbelt.
Right.
Do golf carts have seatbelts? Yeah, I guess they do. They can have like
Some
the
of them
lap
do.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, some of them do.
That's wild.
If you're sitting in the back, you're just out of luck.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
One bump and you're a goner.
Right.
Roadkill. So as a person who's outside of the industry, what advice would you have for somebody who's wanting to get into it?
I think that everyone has their own way of kind of getting involved with the industry. Like a lot of the people I know started off in press. So if you maybe want to get involved with like a social media or community management or something like that on the marketing side, then definitely get involved with your local press organization. You start small, you start making those connections. If you want to do something with art or animation or design or anything like that, start with small programs. Like, I think some of the best advice I actually heard, and I'm not, I make content, but in terms of actually creating animations or graphics for video games itself, some of the best advice I heard was from Brett from Mage Quit, and he said just start with a program. Start with the game that you want to make in a program like Unity or something like that will, and then do a step-by-step tutorial. Find that step-by-step tutorial on YouTube or something like that, and make the game that you want to make, but also follow their instructions. That might be good if you're looking for more of an art or design or programming type position. Also just get to know the people in the industry. I was very, very shy starting out, and I didn't want to talk to anyone.
Right.
But this wanting to be in the industry definitely pushed me to start talking to more people. And now I can't stop talking. So double-edged sword there, but but you just end up. So for me, it was this very strange thing that happened where I was actually looking to leave my job anyway once I graduated, and something forced me to leave that job prematurely. They had a lot of they let go of a lot of people. Unfortunately, I was one of those people. Not to any fault of my own, just that's how businesses work. Right. But a friend of mine who I had interviewed literally maybe 3 months before or 4 months before for a game called Arcade Spirit. She was a voice actress in that game. Happened to know of this position that was opening up across the country and was just like, try for it anyway. So I interviewed, and there was a long interview process, and I eventually got the job, and I, had to pick up all my stuff and move across the country, but it was definitely worth it. So just finding those small opportunities wherever they are, don't ever sell yourself short. and definitely make connections when you can. Go to events, go to some of the best connections and friendships that I've made within the industry have been made in, hanging out in a hotel after convention.
Oh yeah.
Or just going out to lunch with a friend of a friend. That's pretty much how you do it. It really is a hustle a lot of the time, but
it's a grind.
Yeah, it's the grind, but
yeah.
But then you end up, working for a great company or starting out small and then building your way up, building your resume and things like that. So
yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. It's a lot of inspiration I can run with there.
Right.
That's awesome. Wow.
I tend to ramble, but
oh no. Give me any information you got, because I'm trying to get into this industry somehow. So we're getting there.
Also, when you're at conventions, go to panels that you think will, be connected somehow to what you're interested in. Because a lot of those speakers will stay afterwards and talk with different people, and even if it's just, hi, my name is, giving them your business card, making that first connection, and then seeing them maybe at another convention, and then they know your face and they know what you're doing now, it definitely makes a difference.
That's awesome. I know there's a couple people like Max Scoville at IGN. I met him our first year 3 years ago.
At E3, yeah.
And I came up to him. I was like, "Oh, Max, that's so nice to meet you." And he's like, "Oh yeah, what's your name? What do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, my name's Trey." Blah blah blah. Give him the whole spiel. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Well, since this is your first E3, let's make this like a yearly thing." So he's like, "Let's take a picture. We'll talk for a minute." And I was like, "All right, cool." So we took a picture, and he's like, "Oh, I'll see you next year." And that's exactly what happened. Next year after that, he's like, "Oh, Trey, what's up, man?" I was like, "Max Scoville knows my name. This is awesome."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I kind of had the same. It's funny with Mage Quit. I interviewed them 2 years ago at RTX.
Nice.
And they emailed my company basically saying like, "Hey, we see that you're not particularly writing about a lot of indies, but won't you guys take a chance on us?" Essentially was the email. Yeah. And I was just like, you know what? That sounds like a challenge.
Yeah.
So I went over and ended up talking with them, and then they were at we were at PAX East the same year, and then we were at PAX South the same year. And I was just like, I wonder if they have a team. I wonder if I can get involved with something like this. And then just by talking with Brett and bugging him enough. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying to bug people, but just by talking with them enough and seeing that they had a need for something, that they had a spot that they really filled. That's how I was able to kind of get involved with them. So it's really about finding something that needs a need, that has a spot that needs to be filled, and kind of just saying, being bold enough to say, "Hey, I can do this. Would you want to take a chance on someone like me?" Because the Mage Quit guys, they only had met me a handful of times, but they were, sometimes it's the luck of, or will somebody take that chance on you? So
yeah,
true that.
Yeah. The hardest part can be taking that risk. Just getting the application out there, walking up to that booth and introducing yourself to someone. So I mean, I know myself, I'm pretty introverted. I'm pretty shy when it comes to talking with people, as Trey knows.
Very true.
So it's definitely a struggle, but I think for the most part, everyone in the game industry is very helpful, very friendly, very very much willing to hear you out, kind of hear your story and I mean, I feel like we've met some of the best people that we know through these, whether it's the game industry or just through Twitch. We've met some amazing people that way. So I think it's a great community to feel comfortable in taking that risk in.
Definitely.
Because I feel like everyone's kind of been, no matter who you talk to, I feel like everyone's kind of been in that same position, so they understand a little better.
Yeah, and just always be, I mean, this is kind of, it sounds like it should be common sense, but, definitely take a chance on talking to everyone, because you never know where they're going to end up or who they're going to, who they're going to be in the future. Like, for example, I used to stay in hotels with friends in the press industry, because that's pretty much how you make it at these conventions. You share a room with like 4 other people
for sure.
just to make it. But one of the people I ended up staying with is now the community manager of Adult Swim, or
nice.
Another friend of mine is a community manager for 505 Games, and we met 2 years ago at RTX. So you never know who the people you meet are going to end up working for or become. And so it's just, always just be, respectful, treat people how you want to be treated.
Oh, yeah.
Thing,
For sure. Yeah. I think that's like the perfect example, because when we went to E3 our first year, that's how we met the people at Sucker Punch.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. We were just kind of sitting around and like, oh, can we sit down? I'm like, yeah, sure. And he was kind of talking, let them know what we did, and they turn around. They're like, yeah, I'm the president of Sucker Punch. Yeah, I'm the art director of Sucker Punch. We're like, what? But yeah,
awesome.
that was a really cool moment.
That was one of the best experiences, because we were just talking like friends. Like, we had no idea who they were, but they were still willing to just sit down and talk with us. It was, I think our first E3 was probably the best one we'll ever have. I don't think we'll ever be able to top that.
Yeah, it was. I don't think anything's gonna top that one.
So and when was your guys' first E3? Like, what year did you guys go?
That
was 3 years ago. So that's 2017.
17?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's
17.
That was our first year.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It was the first year that it was open to the public.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because from the sound of it, we're lucky we didn't get media passes this year from the whole ESA thing.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, from what I heard, that wasn't handled very well. Yeah. Hopefully you weren't affected by that.
No, because this was my first E3, and I was on the exhibitor list, so I was kind of lucky enough to be unscathed. But I have a lot of friends who I was very concerned for in the industry.
Oh yeah, I do too, for sure. I mean, that's terrible that even happened. That shouldn't have happened at all. But age of the internet.
Yeah, that definitely that means it's probably definitely going to change next year or be something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, we didn't have a booth there, so I got to experience it kind of like as a fan for the first time, which was really nice.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Wow.
But I do have to give hats off to Devolver Digital for their booth across the street that had a Beavis and Butthead cornholio.
That's awesome.
Corn toss thing.
I love that. Dude, Devolver Digital is wild. They knock out that show every time.
Yeah.
I think this time around they did like that 24-hour reveal stream. That was nuts.
Yeah,
that was nuts.
Mm-hmm. Cool stuff.
Yeah, I was sad that I missed their party. Everyone says like how cool their parties are and how they highlight all their games because it's right across the street there. But I think we ended up going to, it was Bethesda or Microsoft or something. But I always hear great things about Devolver. Just kind of overall their presence at conventions, their interactions with the community. They definitely seem to be doing something right.
Yeah, and speaking of that's actually a really good point, because that's another thing that I try and do as a content creator and as a community manager is what are what are my colleagues doing, and how can I learn from them. Like it's funny, for example, not, you know, for as many good things that have happened throughout my career, not everyone has been a huge hit. For example, I applied to Finji, who is known for Night in the Woods and Overland that's coming out. But I applied for the community management position at the same time that their current community manager, Harris Foster, did. And I'm really, really glad that he got it, because he's definitely a pro at what he does. But it was one of those things where I am constantly looking at what he's doing in the indie community and what he's doing with his content to try and even make mine even better. Right. So it's not really competition. It's like who are the people that you choose to surround yourself with, and how much, you know, you can learn from the different community managers or whatever position you're in around.
Sure.
There are plenty of developers and game designers out there who, if you join their community, are willing to talk to you about your own work as well. It kind of becomes a forum of people sharing different things. Like, I know just in the Mage Quit community, there are a few people who've shared their own work, and Chad and Brett will give them feedback on what they've done.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've seen that done in other smaller communities as well. I don't know if you guys know New Blood. They did Dusk.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A Medieval. They also have a game that's in the works right now called Unfortunate Spacemen, and the creator will, you know, they'll constantly look at fan art and content creation that their fans are making, and will actually pay them for their work.
That's awesome.
Sometimes, like, there are content creators where they've actually taken their work and used it on their own merchandise, and they'll always make sure that a portion of that goes to the content creator. So,
that's huge. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, they do a really good job with their community as well.
Yeah, I think companies that do that kind of like feed off of the community just makes it a better space for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that so much. Like, you'll see, what's the company that I used to follow that used to do it all the time? Oh, it's a shirt company. Oh, 86th.
Okay.
The clothing brand. They used to do like a lot of FGC stuff, which they still do every once in a while, but you'll see them be like, oh, like, we're going to do an art contest, and whoever's the winner, we're going to like make a shirt out of it, or we'll make a poster out of it. And I love that. Like, having your community alongside with your company is like amazing. I love having that connection with like any companies that I mess, like I talk with, SNK, the guy, the community manager for Samurai Showdown. Like, I met him at E3 or at Evo this year, and I walked up to him. I was like, "Hey, man, like, it's so nice of you to, you know, hang out with me on my stream the other night." You know, it was wild. You know, I didn't think anyone would, you know, pop in to say what's up, but of all people, the community manager came in, and, you know, I thanked him, and he's like, "Oh, dude, like, I love doing it. I go to, you know, any streams I can get to. I love talking with the community," and I'm like, "Thank you."
Yeah, it's really cool. Speaking of Evo, our community manager did a really cool thing where he actually went to Evo and played Tekken with the other people who were at Evo. Like, he would sit down and play with them and teach them, you know, tricks and stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which I thought was super, super cool. Yeah.
So Teppen's been on the huge rise. That almost came out of nowhere, I think.
It came out July 4th. It came out at Anime Expo, and we revealed it on the spot.
Cool. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. We had these huge banners over the booth, and as soon as the game came out, banners came down.
Rolled down. That's awesome.
It was so cool.
That's really awesome. Yeah, I think the first time I saw it was Maximilian Dude was playing it.
Mm.
And I was like, what is this? Like, Capcom made a card game. I'm down. I'm in it to win it, because Capcom is like my top 3 favorite game companies of all time. And the artwork in that game is insane. And I love how it's not so much as I guess like a collectible card game, because you kind of like you get like decks and stuff that you can kind of work off of, but it's like it's action. Like you got to keep going. Like you can't just stop and like think like, okay, I'm gonna put this card here, and I'm gonna do this. It's like you have to put this card here, or you're going to die.
Yeah,
I love it. It's such a fun game. It's a very interesting concept, and I dig it.
Very cool.
I love it.
Awesome.
So you were talking about other community managers that you kind of it's not a competitive kind of thing, but you kind of you grow together side by side with people. Would you say that there's maybe one or two people in particular that you might look up to as like a mentor or someone that's kind of helped you along this path to be a community manager?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. There are so many people who come to mind when I think of really amazing community managers. I had mentioned Harris Foster. He's definitely been a mentor. Oh wow, there's just so many community managers that I know that I'm just thinking of now. Slate Shortner from 505 Games. He does a lot of talks on his streams for people who are looking to get into the gaming industry or just community managers in general. He's not a community manager, but Dave Oshry from New Blood has definitely been watching the way he handles marketing is absolutely insane. The dude's a madman who never sleeps, but the way he handles marketing community is really definitely pushes me to go past my limits on what I can create and do. So there's definitely a lot of people, and I'm constantly meeting new people all the time. Oh, I can't believe I totally blanked on Victoria Tran from Kit Fox Games, who does
Okay.
They're coming out with Boyfriend Dungeon.
Oh yeah.
She does. She will actually do full-on Twitter threads about community and Twitter posts.
Oh wow.
And she does so many talks at like GDC and at conventions about community management and how to build a non-toxic community and how to keep your community healthy and established and how to deal with when you do have a toxic person in your community. And so there's a lot of that conversation happening. So just a lot of different people have inspired me going into the industry. There's also, there's a huge component that I think a lot of people don't necessarily think of when they're thinking of community managers is, how to keep yourself mentally healthy. And Amanda Gardner from Deep End Games, who did Perception, does really, really great talks on keeping your mental health in check and how to meditate and have a healthy lifestyle for your mental health. She does really great talks on that I've seen at PAX East and things like that.
Right on. Yeah, I could imagine being a community manager is pretty tough on the mental for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, especially with with it being in a big company like Gung Ho, dealing with so many different communities like that, and having to manage all of that, that's got to be quite the toll at the end of the day, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely there are definitely days where I've had to unfortunately skip a stream or take a day off because I'm at the end of the day you sometimes just feel completely burnt out, and that is a very fragile line that you have to make sure that you don't burn yourself out too much, especially during convention season.
Oh yeah.
Because your mental health affects your physical health, and then vice versa, and
Yeah.
So it's definitely gotta take all the vitamins.
Right.
Yeah, I start doing that too.
Things like meditation and writing definitely help me at the end of the day. I'm currently actually working on a book, and that's something I've been doing since grad school, and that actually really helps with my mental health at the end of the day, to just go into something that's not video games. Even though I do play video games after work, but it's more like, go write something or go take a walk. I'm lucky enough to live close enough to a beach. I walk, go for a run after work. It's those things that keep you in check.
Yeah. Yeah, you just need to like unpack when you get home and separate yourself from your
work life.
The work life balance. That's what I was trying to get at. I know I struggle with that sometimes, where if I have a rough day and I get home and something's just like eating at me, like something that might have gone wrong or rubbed me the wrong way at work, it'll just like linger. And I've had to learn to kind of leave my work bag at in my car when I get home, and I just have to detach myself sometimes. It's a hard thing to do, but like you said, I think that's important to find something where you can just stay mentally healthy, whether it's a run or meditation or writing or art, whatever it is. I think it's important to discover what that is for each individual person.
Yeah, and definitely, being a content creator after work, sometimes that is my my meditation, spending time with my community and or the Mage Quit community, or whatever community I'm spending time with after work, is definitely a form of meditation for me, because it's stepping into a new space and spending time with different people. Especially, we've been doing a series recently with a Songbird Symphony, which is an indie game that came out, and I'll actually do the stream in a bird kagurumi.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. So at the end of the day, I'm just like, yes, I get to put on my bird suit and do the stream.
I love it.
So that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, gaming and streaming is definitely my de-stressor. Unless I'm playing Overwatch, then it's just like adds to the stress. But whatever.
It's all about finding the right game to relax with.
Like Hollow Knight is like my good de-stressor. Like now that's on the Switch, I just like sit back in my bed. I'm just like, all right, I'll play this for just a little bit before I go to bed, and then next thing you know, it's like 4 hours later, 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, all right, one last go, one last go.
I think for me, it's gonna have to be Animal Crossing when that comes out. Like that'll be how I unwind at the end of every day.
It's gonna be so
That's
good.
nice.
I'm so excited.
I don't know. I think for me, it's because I've played so many games recently, for streaming and for work related things. But I think for me, my end of the day distressor is still gonna have to be Mage Quit, even though I'm screaming at the top of my lungs while I'm playing it. But I think another one for me, it would have to be Tidewood Night in the Woods, because I've played that game so many times. Sometimes I'll just, I'll put it on. I'll put the music on in the background and just, listen to that and not even play the game. I'll just have it on in the background.
Yeah.
So I can listen to the music.
I loved that game.
Oh, it's such a good game.
Yeah. I felt like it, I forget who it was that wrote an article about it at the time, but if it was something along the lines of, like if you're an anxious, like mid-20s something, like this game is made for you. Like it just, I feel like it resonates with so many people in our generation, on so many different levels. And it definitely, I don't know. I don't think I've played a game like that before.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it really. I wish I could articulate it better. But yeah, I don't think I've played a game that made me feel the way that game had. It was awesome.
I'll be honest, I still haven't gotten around to play it yet, but I've heard nothing but good things. So
yeah,
it's definitely on the list.
It's on so many consoles.
Yeah.
It's on Switch. It's on PC.
Sold.
It's on PS4. I'm not sure if it's on Xbox. I don't think so yet. But it should be.
Not either, actually. Yeah, it just needs to be on everything.
Yeah.
What now?
Oh, excuse me.
Talking about some of our favorite games to relax with. Kind of changing. Well, I guess staying kind of within the same topic there. What are some games that you're looking forward to that aren't necessarily out yet? Doesn't have to be 2019. It can be further out if you want to.
There are just so many good games coming out this year.
Yeah.
My wallet hurts right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of good games coming out just even in the next few months.
Yeah.
I can't even think of what's coming out next year, to be honest. I know I'm really excited about. I wish I could think of the name of it right now, but the people who did Bendy and the Ink Machine are coming out with a new game.
Yes.
And it's like a Western, and I just cannot think of the name of it right now. And I feel really bad because Cricket, who's their community manager, is a good friend of mine. I'm sorry, Cricket. I cannot think of it right now.
Yeah, I can't think of that name either. I know what you're talking about too, because I remember when.
I might actually just have to Google this.
Yeah, I was trying to do the same thing actually.
No, that's not what it's called. Well, the game that's coming, I'm very excited to see what work they do, with that kind of genre.
Oh yeah.
But I think in terms of games that are just coming out in the next few months, I'm super excited about Manakind, which was not the continuation, but it's kind of the answer to Until Dawn. It's from the same studio, and it's part of their new anthology. So there's going to be 9 games in the anthology. I think they said. But it's that. I feel it like it fills the void of Telltale.
Sure.
Because it's that type of like choose your own adventure.
Right.
Yeah.
Decision making that I feel should be in more games, but
I'm
a bit biased. I'm really excited for that, and I'm really excited for Blair Witch.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Really soon.
Yeah, I think it's next month actually.
Yeah.
It comes out.
God, time is flying by.
Yeah, it's almost December. Jeez.
Stop. I'm not ready. Don't.
I don't even want to think of that yet. But yeah, those two I'm really excited for. In terms of games that are coming out, I am I feel hesitant on this one just because of the culture of the company, but I'm still kind of excited about Borderlands 3, which as a gamer and a community manager, I am so conflicted on that.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, it's I feel like that it is kind of tough to or I'm sure it is. I guess I shouldn't speak like I'm a part of the industry, but as a being in the industry and being a consumer at the same time, that's got to be extremely tough in situations like that. Like you don't really know what I mean, you feel torn, I'm sure. I'm trying to think of another example.
Well, I don't mean to talk like I have all the information. I definitely don't.
No, you're fine.
But it's always, you think about these things regardless. You get so much information in a day. It's sometimes it's just like, I just want to sit down and play games.
Right.
I mean, man, it's kind of like the I mean, I'll put it out there, like the whole like Riot Games and like how bad they treat some of their employees. Like it's stuff like I love their games, but I mean it's just the fact on like how they treat their employees is like I don't know if I should support this anymore. But
Yeah.
it's tough. It is tough. I guess just recently too. What was it? Respawn kind of got into some hot water there for a little bit, but
yeah.
But that was with Apex today.
Yeah, it happened yesterday. That was
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
I mean,
not good.
you definitely there's just so many people who work on a game that you think like how can I still support them as well?
Right.
People who still put their all into a game. So I think that's why I'm still gonna end up playing Borderlands in the long run. But there are just so many good games coming out. I think that I'm excited for.
Yeah, we kind of got off on a tangent there. Sorry about that.
Sorry, no, that was totally me. That was totally my fault.
Yeah, it's I always think about, or I always try and think about, I should say, how many people put their time and effort. Like this is where they're putting their 40 plus hours a week into creating something. So it's hard to say, hey, I'm not going to support Riot because of their work practices. But then does that mean that because you're not supporting them, are those people just going to get laid off? Or it's a tough balance. How do you support the workers? And I'm sure there's people that are more informed on situations like this than I am, but I would love to find a way to support the workers. And I know that there's growing talks of like unionizing in the gaming industry and all that. So not that that's the answer, but we won't we won't get into that. That's a whole other discussion. There's just a.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I was just gonna say, on a more positive note, I got into D&D recently.
Nice. God, yeah. That's a genre that I wish I could get into. It's like, if it's not in a world that I understand already, it's so hard for me to get into. Like when we did the Resident Evil one, I was like all about it. I could imagine what Tim was talking about. I was in talks of doing like a Sonic the Hedgehog D&D because why not? But like, I think watching it and like listening to people like other people play D&D, it's really fun. But me, it's tough for me to get into it.
That's fair. Yeah.
Is this how many campaigns have you done, or is this your first time playing?
No, I used to play in college a lot.
That's awesome.
But not so seriously. It was more of just like a fun thing that we did, and we never really got through an entire campaign.
Yeah.
Because we get distracted easily. But I found a few places out here I want to try and start playing again. So I guess technically that's a game I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Because it's something different every time.
There's kind of been like a big rise in like, I've seen a few like D&D bars. It's kind of pretty cool. Yeah, I've never even thought about something like that, but I mean, I think we've got a couple in Ohio that I know of.
Oh wow!
It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
I've only done one campaign, and it didn't get finished, unfortunately. But I'd love it. I wish I would have started sooner. Back in high school or college or something. But I'm glad to see that it's kind of on the rise. It's something that's gaining popularity, and it's not. I don't want to say taboo, but it's not something that's looked down upon as much anymore, which I love.
Yeah, that's good to
I feel like that's just the case in kind of nerd culture in general, though. Like
for sure.
Gaming and comics, it's cool to like the things that nobody thought it was cool to like 20 years ago.
Yeah, there are definitely things that are not so much making a comeback, but more people are discovering them, which is super cool.
Yeah, it's like it's more widely accepted, I guess.
I mean, I brought my sister to her first convention this year, and that's like a unicorn.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she immediately wanted to like leave when she got there because there were too many people for her. which
Sure.
I completely
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah,
'Cause we went to Comic-Con on a Saturday.
Oh wow.
But
Wow.
I gotta hand it to her for wanting to try and get into more of these things. She's a huge Harry Potter fan.
Oh, yeah.
That's why
Cool.
she wanted to go, but she
Yeah.
was, walking up and down the aisles with me. And, I saw her looking at stuff and getting super into it, so that was nice to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I always love introducing people to conventions, and I didn't go over so well with Tim. It wasn't really his his cup of tea. He's more of a PAX or an E3 person, not so much a like an anime convention person. But he gave it a shot, and I'm proud of him for it.
Well, did you go to New York Comic Con with him, right?
Yeah, we went to New York Comic Con.
Okay.
And I think he enjoyed that. He enjoyed
That's a big one.
Yeah. We went in 2016, I believe. 2015 or 2016.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was 16.
Okay. Yeah, that was right before we got the cats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. I've been going to New York Comic Con since 2008. So I've been going a few. I was going. Actually, it might actually be before that, because I was going when it was also still New York Comic Con and Anime NYC. So it was when the convention was still split down the middle.
Yeah.
Which was
I remember seeing way back in the day, seeing videos for that all the time. I'm like, I want to go to one of those one day.
It's cool. I went to my first Anime Expo this year, which was interesting.
Yeah, I heard it's Anime Expo. I heard that's quite the I don't want to say nightmare, but it's very Lion Con-esque.
Oh yeah, the lines were really, really intense. I didn't have to wait on them because I was working them, but I was like,
fair enough.
I saw people waiting, and I was just like, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, we waited. I know we didn't have to do much waiting at New York Comic Con, but I feel like E3 is the one that we always wait the longest.
Oh yeah.
I think it was about 4.5 hours for Legend of Zelda this year.
Oh yeah, that was Nintendo had a crazy line because they were showing all those titles right there. They were showing the new Pokemon and Legend of Zelda and the Sonic
Luigi's
and
Mansion.
Mario at the Olympics.
Dude, I don't care what anyone says. Those games are awesome.
Oh yeah, the rock wall, that was sweet.
Yeah, I still have
Wait,
that
they had a
Sega
rock
shirt.
wall?
Yeah, they had a tiny rock wall.
That's awesome. I didn't go this year, unfortunately, but that sounds awesome. I had no idea about a rock wall. It's crazy.
It's pretty cool.
Are you going to be going to TwitchCon?
Me, I am not sure yet. That's still in the air. More like TBA.
Yeah.
But I am gonna try and not as. It's funny how many of these things I go to work, and I don't think I've been to a convention just as a fan in a very long time.
Sure.
So I think I might go to PAX South next year. So in January, just as a fan, and go for like maybe a day or two and just relax.
For sure. Yeah. Let us know. We'll be there.
Yeah, I love PAX. I'll probably be hanging around the Mage Quit booth for a little bit, but I'll definitely be there. But quick, shameless shout out for them. They have they're releasing the game fully at a PAX West.
Oh wow!
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
oh man, that's huge. Yeah, that's awesome.
Access. Shout out to them.
Excuse me. I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I haven't been keeping up with that game a whole lot, but the amount of times that I did play it, I absolutely loved it.
It's gotten crazy
it's a very unique
how much
game.
they've added because Brett quit his job and is working on the game full time.
Oh wow!
Wow!
I didn't even know about that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's tough. Yeah, he quit his job 2 weeks after PAX South. and was
That's
like,
huge.
full game.
Yeah,
job.
good for him. That's
Yeah, good for
that's
him.
awesome.
Living the dream, man.
Yeah. So that's what I'm looking forward to. What are you guys looking forward to this year?
Number one for me will be Death Stranding.
Yes.
I mean, it's also because we just got done watching the Gamescom, like the new footage from it today, because we were watching that right before we came on the podcast. But there's something crazy about Kojima games that no one else has been able to capture. So I don't know what to expect. The guy's a genius. He's a madman. I can't wait to see what wild story he's concocted next. So
definitely a madman.
Yeah, for sure. That'll be probably what I'm most excited for. Borderlands 3, I'm looking forward to that, and then Animal Crossing, for sure.
Oh, I've
been waiting too long
for that. There's a new Animal Crossing coming out.
March 20th, I think. Not that I'm counting down.
So for me, I guess it would be also Death Stranding. Big Kojima fan myself. Also, any more Halo news is also another big one that I'm looking forward to. And then the rumor of Overwatch 2. As much as that game stresses me out, the rumor is out there for an Overwatch 2. We'll see here in the next few months, but I think that'd be like my top 3. Other than that, I guess like Iceborne. Been really big into Monster Hunter lately again. What else is out there that's coming out?
I was trying to pull up I've got a list of indie games that I kind of like keep on watch. I was trying to see. I try and split them up to where I have like. I had this prepared too. Let me see if I can find my indie list.
Oh, Finji's coming out with a Tunic. I'm really excited for.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
It looks so good.
Yeah. I think I've played that demo at conventions like 10 times. They're going to kick me out of line the next time they see me.
Right.
So I'm excited for that one.
Also, Banjo and Smash is also what I'm excited for the most.
I've been waiting Smash Brothers,
4 years since Melee for him to be in the game, so it's exciting. Oh, and Visage. I don't know if they ever finished the other chapters for that either, but I'm definitely looking forward to playing that. I'm looking forward to playing that again for our Extra Life event that we usually do.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Just playing a bunch of scary games.
That's what it was. It was Minako's Night Market, the cat game.
I don't think I heard that one.
Minako's Night Market by Meowza Games.
Okay.
That one looks really cute.
There's a cat ladies coming out from Rose City Games.
Yeah, I want to play that at PAX West. It looks so good.
It's really cute.
Yeah. After Party is another one. That one's by Night School Studio.
I'm sure there's just so many indies that I'm not thinking of, and I feel really bad.
That's kind of the boat that I'm in right now. I'm like trying to look at my list right now. I'm like,
I've been playing this game called it's out already, but it's called One Finger Death Punch, and it's surprisingly addicting.
I think we just saw that it was announced for the Switch today.
Oh, really?
It was during. I think so. I think it was like Nintendo did like an indie showcase today, and I want to say that it was announced for the Switch.
Okay.
Or I think it was One Finger Death Punch 2.
Yeah, it was 2.
announced for the Switch.
Because that's the one that just came out.
Okay.
Oh, what's that game that's coming out from the woman who did Evil Within 2, and she also did Bayonetta.
Tokyo Ghoul, or it's not Tokyo Ghoul. Oh my gosh, that's an anime.
Ghost
of Tsushima, is that what it's called?
No,
that's the game by Sucker Punch.
Okay.
Shoot.
It's Ghost of something, right?
Yeah.
Ghostwire.
Ghostwire?
Yeah,
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking forward to that.
Sweet. That looks so good.
Yeah. It's
She had such a good presence at E3.
she's so good.
Yeah.
And I'm replaying Evil Within 2.
Oh.
I forgot how good that game is.
I think I got like halfway through that game, and I think then something else came out, and I never got around to beating it. But I'm gonna have to try to go through that and beat that again.
You should.
I get stuck with that all the time.
Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should start playing some scary games. 'Cause I feel like being spooked a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, scary games are the best games.
Oh god, I love them. Just give me all of them.
Hopefully we'll have a few more. I feel like we had some on our list. We always try and like make a compile a list of them so we can play them in October on stream. That's usually our spooky month.
Ooh, very nice. Silver Chains is a good one if you're looking for scary games.
Okay,
I'll put that on the list. Silver.
Yeah, it's very Amnesia-esque.
Ooh, okay.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, watching Trevor play Resident Evil 2 was so funny. Like he scares so easily.
It's weird. I love watching scary games. I just cannot play them. Like I just have to put down the controller and walk away. I love them though. It's so fun to watch. I remember I think it was Outlast we played on Extra Life on stream, and I was just sitting on the couch just like, oh, this is insane.
I think the scariest it wasn't even a game, it was the Saw experience was the scariest thing I think I've ever done in my life, and it was at New York Comic Con 2 years ago.
That was like a VR thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was terrifying.
Ooh.
They like put you in a room, a dark room, in a chair. They strapped your arms to the chair. They put headphones on and the VR thing on, and you had to do this whole experience. And I've never wanted to just nope out of there so fast.
Oh, what's that?
It was terrifying.
What's that one game?
That's
with
awful.
the ocean.
There's no way I could do that.
I played Resident Evil 7 on VR recently, and I got pretty spooked by that.
On VR, you said?
RE7.
Oh, RE7? Oh, yeah, that game. I'm very excited for 8 because I want to see where this like new universe sort of thing goes on.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what's going to happen next because 7 was so fantastic.
It was really, really good. It reminded me a lot of... It's like they took Outlast and the writing from the first Fear game, and it had a baby.
Oh man, Fear.
And that baby was
right.
Yeah,
the game was... I would probably give it one of my game of the years for sure when that game came out.
Wow.
That game was... I loved it.
That was one of the years where we had a lot of like big titles right at the start of the year, because I think was that the same year Monster Hunter came out or no?
Yeah.
It was last year,
Resident
right?
Evil...
Or was it the year before last? I can't even remember.
I want to say the year before last. Oh man.
Wasn't it like
it all
the
just
same
blends
year
together
as Spider-Man too? Insomniac Spider-Man came out around the same time?
Well, that was last year. I know that for sure.
Okay.
Spider-Man.
2 years ago, and then
all these release dates just blend together after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I had no idea that Grandia came out Friday. I thought it was like next month, but
the PC version comes out next month.
Maybe that's what I was looking at.
Yeah.
I'm getting it on the Switch though. If it's already out, it's Switch done.
Play it on the go.
I'm gonna be playing it on the plane ride to Seattle. Get my hours in.
Right.
Yeah.
So you brought up con season. Does that have is that starting to wind down then, like after PAX West?
Yeah, definitely around the like December, there's not as much to do, which is nice because I'll actually be able to go home to New York for the first time in like almost a year, which is a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of family in New York. I need to visit there again. I need to visit more.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take a 5-hour plane ride back. Visit my family. It's worth it.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Totally worth it.
Did you guys do anything international? Like, do you guys have a presence at like Gamescom this week or like Tokyo Game Show or anything?
TBA. TBA. I'm not actually not sure.
That's fair.
I don't think we have anything for Gamescom. I don't believe so. I know our next thing is PAX West, so that's kind of what we're focused on at the moment.
Yeah. I'm sure, like, especially with all the conventions kind of throughout the summer, that has to be insane, just back to back to back to back. Like, by the time you're already finished with one convention. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so strange because it felt like what was the last thing I did? So I did PAX South with Mage Quit, and then I did PAX East literally 2 months or 3 months later with Mage Quit. Yeah. And then I moved, and then I did E3, and then I did AX. And then we had like a month in between to breathe, and now we're going to PAX West. So it's just been, back-to-back conventions has been so much fun, but so insane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There was definitely a full 2 weeks where I was very sick from conventions.
That con cred.
Yeah. It
Don't
wasn't
miss
fun, but managed to survive.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sure that even through the tough times, being able to experience all that from the industry side has to be so fun.
Yeah, I got to do a really cool interview at PAX East with a publisher called Versus Evil. They had me on their small content creators panel. It wasn't so much a panel; it was their stage setup.
Yeah.
And
okay.
It was like me and 4 other people, and that was a lot of fun to do. Yeah, and then I got to one of the creators in Mage Quit bet me that I couldn't yell about their tournament without a microphone because I already speak kind of quietly, but my voice was almost shut at that point. He's like, I bet you can't do that, and I was like, nope, we're doing this. Let's go.
Let's go.
Never back down from a bet.
No, never. So it's been fun to work with all the different people across the different conventions.
Yeah.
And I got always... Oh, sorry.
No, I was, you can go ahead. I was just saying it's nice to be able to see the same people kind of over and over at the same conventions.
Yeah, especially when there are certain people who are like moving, or maybe you don't see as often. Like my friend's moving his company to New Zealand. So it's kind of the last few times I get to see them. And then I had another friend who had left the industry for like a year, and this was his first event in a year, so it was really cool to see him. And just the people maybe you don't necessarily get to see as often, but yeah.
Yeah, man, it's that convention family, man.
Yeah.
It really is. We've got a few people that we see down in Texas. It was the first time we actually got to meet them in person because we went to PAX South. So it's cool to have kind of spots all over the country that you can go to and see a different group of people every time.
Yeah, Texas is definitely one of my favorite places for convention seasons.
I love it down there.
Yeah, PAX South is definitely my favorite convention to go to in terms of like the people I get to see and things I get to do down there. For sure.
Well, I know we're looking We're
Oh,
a bit
wow.
over the hour mark, so normally towards the end here, we like to do a like a rapid fire section.
Okay.
So just some kind of like fun questions to kind of wrap it up. No, so we'll just kind of jump right into it. I've got it pulled up, Trey. I'll go ahead and read them off. But
I don't have it pulled up yet.
no, you're fine. I've got it prepared here. So just the first thing that comes to your head. They're all pretty fun questions, nothing like too serious. So whenever you're ready, we'll throw you through the rapid fire gauntlet here.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So first question: if you had to play or stream one game for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Mage Quit.
Nice. What is your weapon of choice? This can be any game.
Dual swords.
Ooh,
Nice.
okay. Favorite controller of all time?
The PS4 controller. I love the sound going through the speaker.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. What game have you put the most hours into?
That's a hard one in terms of hours.
Yeah.
Probably Dead by Daylight. I put
Ooh,
a lot
okay,
of time
okay.
into Dead by Daylight.
Got a cool a Dead by Daylight announcement today.
I saw that. I'm very excited.
So
for
awesome.
It.
Yeah.
Me too.
Awesome.
Number 5, video game crush. No judgment
that's a
here.
hard one. Why am I? And I'm even blanking on his name from Tales of the Borderlands.
Oh,
the main.
Reese.
Yeah, Reese.
Reese. Okay,
Yeah.
I like Reese.
He's kind of a jerk, but
Yeah.
I love him.
What video game creature would you want to keep as a pet?
Video game creature. I think a Heartless.
Oh,
I think they're kind of
Oh.
cute.
Yeah, I like it. Your favorite video game music or original soundtrack?
Oh, that's so hard.
That's always the tough one.
Oh man. I'd probably say Night in the Woods.
I know it's.
Really, really enjoy that soundtrack.
I like it. And either your most hated video game character.
I really didn't like the protagonist in Outlast 2. I can't even think of his name. I didn't even like him. I didn't like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you the name either, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Favorite game to watch?
I really like the Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are really good to watch.
Yeah, I like to watch
Nice.
other people play them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hot garbage at that game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. But I'll watch it for sure.
Yeah.
And this last question comes from Tim. This is Tim's bonus question here. Your favorite pocket on a pair of jeans?
My favorite pocket on a pair of jeans. Well,
Yep.
as a woman, we often don't get pockets on our jeans, which is unfair. But that's a conversation for another day. I
Pocket
would
equality for
probably
all.
say the front right pocket because I always end up like kind of leaning with like
Okay.
my hand on the side.
Nice.
That's
Okay.
fair. That's fair.
Well, that is the rapid fire gauntlet. You made it through.
Woo. Thank you. Victory lap around the living room.
Right. Yeah,
Awesome.
we say rapid fire, but usually there's some pretty tough questions in there that I don't, even though I've read them off a few times, I don't think I could answer them like right off the bat.
Yeah, no, it's always tough. Especially when it gets to the music part, I'm like, I can't.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I feel like I'd end up changing my mind like 5 minutes later, like, oh no, wait, I thought of something else.
Yeah, there are definitely games that, and especially the number of hours question. I think I got that wrong, but yeah. I think it's between Dead by Daylight and Kingdom Hearts 2, so that could have
Oh, yeah.
changed.
2 is so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Kingdom Hearts.
I wish we had. I think I said this last time when we were on our last podcast. I wish we had real life achievements so we could see how much time we've put into to games. I'd love to see like what my real life stats look like.
There's a website you can go to that tells you all your stats in terms of hours played and things like that. I just can't think of it right now. You can you can hook up your Steam account to it and it'll give you like the statistics of everything.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh wow. I'll have to check that out. I'm interested now.
They need an extension for like my Game Boy so I can load in all my time on the Game Boy as a kid, because I'm pretty sure it's something on the Game Boy Color that probably has my most hours in it.
Very cool.
I feel like I just never put down like Pokemon, probably Gold or Crystal.
My dog ate my Game Boy Color. If you can believe that. She bit right through the glass screen.
Oh my
gosh.
Yeah. She's okay.
That is awful.
But
right, that's good at least. That's
I was just very
jeez. That's heartbreaking. I've never had a pet / video game injury. Luckily, I've been lucky in that arena. Luckily, our cats don't chew on much anymore. But
yeah,
good.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Other than
many cables were lost in those first couple months.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, lots of cables, lots of lampshades.
Oh my gosh.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. They're siblings and they like to play a lot, so they just kind of like rampage through the house randomly, and they like tore right through. We had one of those paper IKEA lampshades, and they just like busted right through it. So
I could see an animal doing that.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
And they were probably like 2 months old or something.
Yeah, they were like this big.
Yeah, little potatoes.
Oh,
little fluffy potatoes. Climb on everything they can because they can get away with it because they're cute.
Yep.
That sounds like a cat for sure.
Yep. Well, I know we're kind of at the end now that we've gone through the rapid fires. So I wanted to kind of give you a chance to kind of plug yourself before we wrap things up. Where can people check you out on socials, on Twitter, Twitch, wherever you'd like to kind of shout yourself out?
Sure. So on Twitch, I am thesmollestbirb. I think I'm one of the few Twitch channels on Twitch that does a support organ donation page. So you guys can check that out.
Nice.
On Twitter, I'm thesmollestbirb. You can find me there, and on Facebook, we are the Smallestbirb Productions. So yeah, that's everything, and fun preview coming up. I got my violin fixed this week, so I'll be doing music streams in very soon.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. It was a couple days ago. I think I saw the photo you put up. That's awesome.
Very excited. Finally got it back from New York.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, that'll be. If you guys haven't already, definitely drop by her stream and give her a follow. She's definitely one of the great people we've met in the gaming industry. I'm glad we got to get to know you a little better.
Thank you.
I know we haven't met too much, but I'm looking forward to seeing you again at PAX West.
Of course.
And many more conventions after that.
Yes, definitely. Feel free to drop by the booth and hit me up whenever you guys are at events.
Yeah, for sure.
We will. So yeah, I mean, with that, thank you so much for taking the time out of your post-work evening to jump on our Summer of Streamers. We really appreciate it. And glad you could stop by.
All right, thank you guys.
Yeah,
thank you.
And until next week on episode 63, we'll have someone else. But until then, like we said, make sure you follow The Smallest Birb on Twitch, Twitter, and we'll have someone else for you guys to hear about next week. We'll see you guys later.